Good morning. Welcome to Long Live Third Parties Podcast. Free Press Media Press Inc., a third parties books publisher, sponsors this podcast. I'm Andrew Bouchard. Today I read the case Zobel versus Board of Elections, 178, Misc 2D 439, New York, Supreme Court, Albany, 1998. Friends, we're going to again talk about a third party I never heard about before. Maybe you've heard about it before, but I've never heard about it before. So I love the enlightenment of finding out about new third parties. The third party in question, of which we will be discussing today, is a party called the Term Limits Party. Have you heard of that party? Also, I'd like to know, what do you think about term limits? I see term limits mentioned on third party platforms. So what do you think? Do you think we should have them? Personally, I don't have a strong position on them. It's not something I've thought a lot about. I've heard good arguments for positions on this issue, but it's not one of my main concerns. Still, other people find it very important, so I give them credit for using this issue. By the name, it would sound like the Term Limits Party is one of those single issue parties, but it could also have other issues that concern it, and maybe that's just the main issue. Having never come across them before, much less seen a platform, I can only speculate. So let's read about what happened here. It says, quote, "These proceedings, brought pursuant to Election Law Article 6, involve three separate attempts to validate and invalidate a nominating petition for a statewide slate of candidates circulated by the Term Limits Party." End quote. And then it continues, it says, quote, "In or about July and August 1998, a new political party operating under the name Term Limits Party circulated an independent nominating petition nominating individuals for the offices of governor, lieutenant governor, comptroller, attorney general, and United States senator. Approximately 30,231 signatures were obtained thereon, and the petition was filed with the State Board of Elections, herein the board, on August 18th, 1998, pursuant to Election Law 6-154, general and specific objections were filed to challenge the validity of the petitions with the State Board of Elections." End quote. Having people running for all those offices is pretty good for a new party. So good job, Term Limits Party. This was 1998, and now we're in 2021. So that's 23 years later. Almost a quarter of a century. So I wonder what has happened to this Term Limits Party. Let me know if you have any knowledge of that. Ultimately, they fought over the validity of these signatures. That was the crux of this case. These signatures were deemed invalid for reasons such as not having the right name of the city, not being legible, and also changes being made without initialing those changes. Our friends here at the Term Limits Party tried to fight back, but unfortunately, the judges here weren't having that. The Term Limits Party also had a number of other issues they were being discussed in this case, but the court said we're not going to rule on that because these issues are not the main ones here. One was, they said the logo of the Term Limits Party was very close to the Conservative Party logo. If by chance you've seen both logos, what do you think? Do you think they are similar? I hope the Conservative Party isn't fighting the Term Limits Party, because it's disheartening when third parties fight each other. We need to unite, not fight, like the saying goes. They did have one individual who was on the witness stand in this case who said he would have done a better job running this petition campaign if he were in charge. And he said this was unnecessary what they had to go through. So maybe we can learn from that. Maybe we can realize the necessity of having good strategy, having good operating measures when we're running these campaigns for petitions. Fortunately, when I ran for office, ultimately my petitions were all fine. Unfortunately, many others don't face that. So that's why it's important for us to focus on this. Ultimately, they conclude the following. They say, quote, accordingly, the independent nominating petition is invalidated because it does not contain the requisite 15,000 signatures. The petition to invalidate is granted, and the two petitions to validate are dismissed. End quote. Term Limits Party, I hope you've had much success over the years. If you're still in existence, may you have great success as it continues. Let us continue to advance third parties. Long live third parties. Goodbye.